Today's Beit Din, Rabbis Barry Tuchman, Rabbi Cantor Monty Turner, who is enjoying the traffic from the LA Marathon, but will be here shortly. Rabbi Jason Van Leeuwen, who's now had 3 separate introductions. He's a virtual, yes. Rabbi, cantor, vocalist, he does a lot of wonderful things. Assembled today with my deepest appreciation by Rabbi Ted Falcon, PhD, who has traveled here with his wife Ruth from their home in Seattle, Washington, to convene this Beit Din for my ordination. This is the very same Ted Falcon who offered me a healing place in 1976, and just the right nudge at the right time to step up and cantor. Let's welcome him as he steps up to the bima and begins our ceremony.
Is this on? It's a little disappointing that it's on right away because look at all the people you got here. So essentially what we're going to do is Mark's going to do some singing and we're then going to vote.
We won't have a report first? The whole report.
You know, one of the interesting things was when Mark contacted me and wondered if I would be interested in heading a Beit Din. Beit Din literally means house of judgment. To confirm him as cantor, like the first thing that went through my mind is, aren't you already a cantor? So in some ways, this is like an official announcement of something that already exists. On another level, this is a reflection of something that I think is critical in our time. It used to be that for generations, millennia, rabbis and cantors received their ordination in the presence and by the authority of 3 other ordained clergy, so that 3 rabbis would ordain a new rabbi. And then we came to this country, and this country is a place of institutions. And we Jews are great at making institutions. The institutions are wonderful things. You know, we have developed curricula that can invite people to learn what then the institution thinks is important to be learned in order to qualify them for whatever they are working on. However, institutions tend to produce institutionalized clergy. And we're living in an age when institutionalized clergy are actually not working real well. And we know that by the number of disenfranchised people. The fastest growing group in this country are the nuns. The nuns are those that check off none when it asks for religion. So in many ways, I think the future of a revitalized spirituality, in fact, rests on those who step into positions of spiritual leadership coming from a place of awakened and awakening spirituality. And that sometimes can flow through institutions, but it's not something institutions can produce. It's not something that can be controlled that way. So those of us who are interested in stepping outside of those halls of rules kind of have the capacity and the ability to find people who are already what they want to be. Because that's essentially how it is. You know, you want to know who's a cantor, see who's cantoring. And see if people are served by their cantoring. You want to know who's a rabbi? See who's talking and leading and people are listening. So we convene ourselves. You know, there are 4 rabbis here, actually 3 and almost 4. But I think all of us are here to confirm something that is already in our midst and already precious. So I'd like to invite you to begin with me a series of affirmations. I mean, this is a Center for Spiritual Living, right? This is what we do at Centers for Spiritual Living. We say statements of truth. And so I'd invite you to risk repeating after me. I am exactly where I want to be.
I am exactly where I want to be.
I mean, is not that true? Well, is that not true? I am doing exactly what I want to be doing.
I am doing exactly what I want to be doing.
I'm with exactly the people I want to be with.
I'm with exactly the people I want to be with.
And I am exactly the one I want to be.
And I am exactly the one I want to be.
Just imagine that all those are simply true. Where do we want to be? We want to be here. Who do we want to be with? Look around. What do we want to be doing? We want to be in a place where we get to support someone whom we care about. And who are we if not the very ones we want to be? Knowing that that kind of acceptance provides the ground for our own evolution. For our evolution flows not from what we reject or not from what we resist. Our evolution flows naturally, clearly, and always on the foundation of our acceptance of the holiness and the sacredness of each and every moment. So welcome to this space, and welcome to the sounds with which we will be gifted. Traditionally, at a cantorial ordination, a cantorial candidate presents cantorially. And so we are gifted with that. Mark and I go back, you said 76. I was only 6 years old then. We have interacted over the years for a very long time. There was a time in the early days of the congregation I founded when Mark did the music. He's done cantorial music for other congregations, and many of you know him in that context. He's done cantorial music as well as leadership for many weddings and funerals. He's sung at the bedside of those who are about to make their transitions. I mean, that sounds to me like a definition of a cantor. So welcome to this moment. with all the sounds and all the words and all the energies with which we together celebrate.
We are gifts and we are blessings. We are history in song. We are hope and we are healing. We are learning to be strong. We are words, we are stories, we are pictures of the past. We are carriers of wisdom, not the first and not the last. Dor vador, nagid gad lecha. Dor vador, we protect this chain from generation to generation. The Dor vador, these lips will praise your name. Looking back on the journey that we carry in our heart, from the shadow of the mountains to the waters that would part. We are blessed and we are holy. We are children of your way. And the words that bring us meaning, we will have the strength to say. The Dor vador, nagid gad lecha. The Dor vador, we protect this chain from generation to generation. The Dor vador, these lips will praise your name. It's Hayim Hi, the Machazikim Bar, Vitomecha, Meyushar, Rachel, Dachenoam, Vikol Tivotecha, Shalom, Ashivenu Adonai, Elecha v'nashuva, Hadesh, Hadesh Yameinu, Hadesh Yameinu Kikem.
Usually when the ark is opened, everybody stands, except we're going to be up here for a few minutes, so you're welcome to sit down. So before we proceed with the actual ordination, as I told you at the beginning, we have to take a vote. Now, if it's close, we'll have to do a closed paper ballot. And I want to say something about the criteria for your vote, because it's not simply expertise with a musical instrument, and it's not simply having the pipes this guy's got. It has to do with presence. It has to do with commitment. It has to do with integrity and it has to do with honesty. It has to do with kavanah. Kavanah is a Hebrew word that means intention or intentionality or direction. Ordination is not a completion. Ordination is a beginning. And one of the things I've learned over the years, since it's now almost 51 years since my ordination, is that you can never tell what exactly is going to unfold. And we can never tell exactly what will be asked. So it's a commitment to be open to the present. As Mark shared, when a prophet is called, the prophet said, Hineni. Rabbi Barry Tuchman will say a word about calling.
So Moses, it's a good thing to talk about Moses. He learned in Egypt how to rule. But it was in the land of Midian that he learned how to shepherd. And the difference between the two is quite interesting. A ruler doesn't necessarily take into consideration the needs and the desires of the flock, where the shepherd does. There's such a strong personal relationship between the shepherd and his sheep. They listen for his voice, and he listens for theirs. There is a relationship with the sense of hearing that creates this relationship between the shepherd and the sheep. I am amazed that the very first word of the most sacred 6 words that we share together, Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad, begins with the word believe. Think about this. No. Hear. There is a hearing that took place when Moses was off in the desert, drawing him to this mount. It came through his senses. It was in his body. It was a part of what he really was. This is what calling is about. It's not about the credential. It's not about the lessons. It's not about the teachings. It's about the life that is being transmitted and the shepherding that is taking place. And so there are 3 levels of calling. It first begins in the body by hearing. Oh, I get it. Then there's confirmation. This is what you folks are. How many years? 41 years of confirmation is sitting in this room. And then, and I think that, I think you're voting electronic devices all under your seats. However, I think that we, because of time, because our cantor is long, by the way, just as Moses learned how to rule in Egypt and learned how to shepherd in Midian, Mark learned how to hypnotize in Egypt and learned how to sing in the desert. Oh, I could go on, but that's enough.
When the call came to the ancient prophets said, Hineni, here I am. And sometimes one wonders, Did the prophet hear the call and then say, "Here I am"? Or was there synchronicity? Did those two happen actually at the same time? The call and the hineni coincided. I prefer to think that the hineni came first. That in fact, when the prophet said hineni, the call awakened. And we have witnessed Mark sharing with us his hineni. And with that hineni, the call awakens. So I got to hear it. What do you think? I assume that was for me. So now we will take that as affirmative. And I'd like to tell you that we are following an ancient tradition of smicha. Smicha is a laying on of hands, first transmitted by Moses to Joshua, and then transmitted from generation to generation to generation of leaders of our people, to rabbis and to cantors. But the truth of the matter is, we're not doing it. All of us are doing it. So it's your energy and more. All the ears that have heard, all the souls that have been uplifted and shall be uplifted are sharing in a sacred moment of ordination.
Amen.
So if you would stand here. So Monty behind him. I'm going to do in the front on his head. So it'd be good if you could get the left. This is called smicha ordination choreography. The fact that this is unorthodox does not make it less authentic. And the fact that this is orthodox does not make this more authentic. Essentially, we are confirming you, Marc Bachrach, as Cantor Marc Bachrach. Confirming you carrying that title fully, honestly, with integrity in all the work that you do, all the places that your voice and your energies are shared. We ask God's blessing upon you in the way our people have conveyed blessing for millennia. I gotta get a little closer. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. It is the Holy One of blessing who blesses and sustains and keeps you always. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka. It is that one awakening within you as light, as life, and as love. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. in your journey as Cantor Marc Bachrach. May that inner light, that inner life, that inner love grow ever more clear, ever more sure, that you might know and share God's greatest gift of wholeness, of completeness, and of peace. Amen. To signify this official moment and to give Mark valid evidence of this ordination, a certificate. So far it's been signed by 3 rabbis. It will be, in a few moments, signed by 4. It says, with the authority vested in us as the rabbinic and cantorial ordination services of North America, the undersigned certify that Marc Bachrach has demonstrated the knowledge and musical skills required to be ordained cantor in the Jewish tradition. He is henceforth to be known as Cantor Marc Bachrach, with all the privileges and responsibilities associated with his cantorial position, certified on March 24th, 2019, at Westlake Village, California, signed by the 4 of us. Mazal Tov.
Mazal Tov.
Oh, Yishama, Bi'are Yehuda, Uvechutzot Yerushalayim, Kol sason v'kol simcha, Kol chatan v'kol kala, Kol sason v'kol simcha, Kol chatan v'kol kala. Oh, say shalom b'roma, Yaseh shalom aleinu, V'ala kol Yisrael, V'yimeru amen. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, V'ala kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, V'ala kol Yisrael. Say shalom b'romav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, v'ala kol Yisrael, v'yimeru amen. Oh, say shalom b'romav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu, v'ala kol